Very glad to be with you today to be talking about donation of tangible personal property. So what is tangible personal property? It's a physical item that ordinarily can be moved, okay? So this can be anything from a car to a stamp collection, to a coin collection, to art, to JFK's golf clubs. A lot of people maybe have a baseball card collection from their childhood, and now it's worth $50,000. Might be a good idea because it's so highly appreciated. If they went out on the open market and sold it, there'd be a huge capital gain. Instead, donate it to a charity and get a charitable income tax deduction for hopefully the fair market value. We're going to talk about that. So let's talk about the deduction. The deduction that you get is either the basis, okay, or the fair market value. Now, many of you may know what basis is, but let me just speak to that for a second. A basis is normally what you paid for the item, okay? And so if you bought, let's say, a piece of art 30 years ago for $10,000 and it's worth $10 million now, then your basis is $10,000. The fair market value is $10 million. So there might be a huge gap between the basis and the fair market value. So you want to make sure to follow the rules to ensure that you get the fair market value deduction and not the basis deduction, okay? Now, you get the fair market, the baseline is that you get a basis deduction, which is not a good outcome from a tax perspective. But if you donate artwork or something else to a charity and it's related use, okay, for the charity, and we'll talk more about that in a second, then you can usually get the fair market value deduction, which is obviously much better. So let's talk about related use a little bit. Let's say you have a piece of art, you give it to an art museum, they put it on the wall, then that's obviously related use. It's something in furtherance of the goals of the charity. If you give it to a university, that's probably related use. Universities often have their own small art gallery, and they might have an art history program, etc. Now, this is limited for 50% of the AGI that you have in a given year. So for most donations to a public charity or private operating foundations, you are limited in the deduction that you can take in a given year to 50% of your AGI. If you cannot use the deduction in year one, then it can be carried over up to 5 more years. So you have 6 years to use this upfront deduction that you're getting for this charitable income tax deduction that you're getting. If tangible personal property, let's say you've got some tangible personal property in your operating business, something like that, if it represents inventory, then you are only going to get a cost basis. So be wary of that. Now, a lot of people have more art than they have wall space. And also, a lot of people bought art a very long time ago, before art started really increasing value in the last couple of decades. So I want to spend some time on art because the rules are a little more complicated for art than they are for other forms of tangible personal property. If the fair market value of the art is greater than $5,000, okay, then you have to get an appraisal, and a so-called qualified appraisal, not just any old appraisal. And the IRS specifies rules for what constitutes a qualified appraisal and a qualified appraisal. And I can help you with that if you need some help. If the fair market value is greater than $50,000, then the IRS is required to send your appraisal that you sent in to something called the IRS Art Advisory Panel. This is an independent panel of art experts, in theory, who make their own independent judgment as to what the artwork is worth. And if it's dramatically less than what you said it was worth, then you're going to be fighting with the IRS. Note that if the fair market value is greater than only $500, there's a special form that you have to fill out, and give to the IRS, Form 8283. Now, what in the past, charities would often take these things in and sell them immediately, okay? Now we've got new rules that say that if the charity sells within 3 years, then they have to file a form with the IRS copying the donor saying how much they received for it. And if what they received for it is less than what your appraisal was and less than what the donation appraisal was and the deduction that you took, then the IRS could easily come back and recategorize that, recharacterize the amount that you got for the deduction and lower it. Okay, and so you want to get a promise from the charity that you donated to that they will hold on to it for 3 years. Get them to sign an agreement to say that. By the way, charities also have to give you a letter indicating that it is a related use. Okay, and that's not just for art; that's for anything any tangible personal property. And you want to include that letter with your income tax 1040. Now, be wary of putting restrictions on the charity's use of the tangible personal property because if you put a number of restrictions on it, then that could decrease the fair market value of the property. Okay, so just be wary of that. Now, if you are an artist, okay, and you create your own art or sculpture or something similar, and you want to donate that to a charity, then you are limited by the IRS to just the cost of your materials, which you may have already depreciated anyway, and so it might be zero. So just if you're an artist, then be wary of donating your own creations. Now, just one last thing, cars. Cars have historically been the #1 type of tangible personal property that people donate to charity. You've probably seen a million ads in your lifetime for donate your car to X charity or Y charity, okay? I have done this in the past myself, actually. In the past, you were able to take whatever the Blue Book value was for your car as a deduction, no matter what the charity eventually got for it. But now the IRS has closed that, and they say that you have to get a letter from the charity saying how much they got for the car, usually at auction. So the Salvation Army used to get hundreds of thousands of cars every year, and they would usually ship them off to an auction house where they sold cars like this, okay? And usually they would only go for a few $100s at most. Sometimes a little more if it was a fancier car that they could take apart for parts. But the point is that whatever they sell it for on the open market at auction is going to be way less than the Blue Book value, okay? And so just be mindful that you can no longer take the Blue Book value as a deduction for a car. Okay, but anyway, donations of tangible personal property can be a great way to get a large income tax deduction that will help reduce your taxes, especially on highly appreciated tangible personal property. You also avoid the capital gains that would be associated with selling it and then donating the cash to a charity. We are going to have a further explanation of art in a separate video that I'm going to do later. But for now, that's all I wanted to say about donation of tangible personal property. Again, my name is T.L. Turnipseed. Contact information is going to come up right after I finish this, and I would love to hear from you. And so please contact me if you need some help on tangible personal property or have us look at your overall situation. Thanks very much. Take care. Have a great day.